Welcome to In the Moment with Kortia, where we inform, inspire, and motivate you to be a positive agent of change. Good morning on this Motivational Monday, family. And I just want to send a shout out to all of my family and friends out there in Central Louisiana and surrounding areas. That's Natchitoches, Gina, Alexandria on 88.1 FM, Monroe, West Monroe on 98.9 FM, Shreveport, Greenwood on 92.5 FM, St. Joseph, Natchez, Mississippi on 99.3 FM, and Lake Charles on 100.1 FM. And look, family and friends, you can call into the radio station at the local number, which is 318-484-2500, and toll free at 877-464-2500. Remember to keep following us all across social media at In the Moment with Kortia Kuzan. And also, for those of you that have been also inquiring about the podcast, you can go to the website at inthemomentwithkortiakuzan.com or In the Moment with Kortia Kuzan on YouTube. All right. So on this Motivational Monday today, you know, it kind of sparked last night. My wife, Ashley, we were talking about, you know, what were we going to be talking about today, okay? What we're going to be talking about. And, yes, you will be hearing the dynamic Jennifer Kuzan momentarily on the microphone, and she's waving hey to everyone and good morning. But, you know, what is it that we're talking about? And a lot of things that, you know, I've been seeing as far as like in the media, when I listen to people conversate, things that I've been reading about, things that have been popping up on the internet, is that, you know, it really seems that a lot of people, as we start this Motivational Monday off, seem to, I don't know, feel like they've run into like this really mundane life. Like, you know, this is just what it's going to be like. I mean, things aren't going to change. I'm just going to set myself on cruise control. I'm going to just ride this out until, you know, the Lord calls me home. But you know something, that's not what God's called us to do. God has not called us to just, you know, well, let's just say be a piece of furniture of life, okay? Just to where we get stuck in like that mundane, like I was talking about, and then all of a sudden, you know, we just go by to where, you know, it's basically like we get up each and every day and we decide to eat the crackers of life, okay, instead of having the filet mignon that God has in store for us. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about how we've kind of set in ourselves to, you know, pretty much just build someone else's dream. And you might say, well, Court, well, what do you actually mean about that? You know, I'm not building anyone else's dream. Well, if we're really being honest about it, we build someone else's dream every single day. And you might say, well, how is that? Well, if you are not actually working for yourself, okay, or not doing the things that God has placed in your heart, then what? You are building someone else's dream. And, you know, we're going to go in and break that down a little bit further. And a lot of us right now, especially when it comes to, you know, family, when it comes to friends, when it comes to different choices that we've made. I mean, think about this. How many of us right now can actually say that a lot of the jobs that we're doing right now, a lot of the decisions that we made early in life, you know, when you were in school, okay, like junior high, high school, college, okay, when you first started in whatever profession that you're in, a lot of those decisions that you actually made were based upon, you know, what your circle was doing, what everyone else said they were doing, what school everyone said they were going to be going to, okay, what job was going to probably produce the most amount of income, what family members said you should be doing based upon, you know, what they perceived as your particular, I don't know, skill set or gifting. I mean, how many of us have actually made choices based upon that and not what's burning on the inside of us? And a lot of us right now, we're in this like cycle of building someone else's dream and living this mundane type of life, okay? A life where we feel like, you know, it's not exciting, that life where we feel like we're not adequate or it's not up to par, like we're living this bored life, okay? It's because a lot of us have made that decision to live that way because why? We have a fear of letting other people down. And, you know, I can definitely say that has been the case in a certain phase of my life, you know, making choices and doing different things because, you know, I thought if I didn't do a certain thing in my life, I was going to let someone down. You know, the same thing like with family members. I can definitely say, okay, and a dream can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. And what am I talking about this? I can look back right now and a lot of the hard things I've gone through in life had to be because of what everyone else I could say was doing as far as like in my family, you know, the thing to do, okay? And it was the dream that they had, and, you know, the big dream that I can remember. Some of you are going to relate to this. Some of you might relate to this right now. Like I said, I'm not putting anyone down. And we got like I said, the dynamic Jennifer Kuzan just made her way to the microphone.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
And a lot of the things, like, what's that expression out there? A lot of us right now, we're simply just living for the weekend, okay? Living for the weekend. I mean, you just came out of, you know, Resurrection Sunday, or some of you may say Easter, okay, and you had your excitement then. And then all of a sudden, when it got to that certain time of the night, usually it's about 7, 8 o'clock on a Sunday, you're dreading Monday, okay? And you're already, it being motivational Monday, you're already looking towards Friday just again, and, you know, you really haven't gotten started just yet. And my wife asked that, she's got that smile on her face because she knows exactly that, oh, my Lord, that was us. I mean, and I don't know. It
definitely was.
Yeah, I don't know to the extent of it being for you. But for me, I mean, it was to the point that once it got past like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I literally started looking at the clock and counting the hours down until it was time to go to bed and just thinking about, oh, my Lord, here comes that Monday.
I'd say about 6 or 7 for me because about 5 I was just getting off.
Look, definitely, here comes that Monday. But it's a lot of the things that, like I said, of living someone else's dream, you know, building someone else's dream. And, you know, how I just said living for the weekend, I can definitely tell you, you know, and a lot of us fell into this, I'm going to call it trap, okay, to where you did everything that everyone else in your circle at that point in time, what they were doing living for the weekend. And like I said, before I came to know Christ as my Lord and Savior, it was, I don't know, hanging out somewhere, doing some foolishness, you know, out there just drinking the pastime by.
It's a shame you used to do that.
Oh, you okay. You better go ahead. Look, see, get that internal repentance going on. But, I mean, it really is something.
Pick on you day.
It's been pick on me day for the last couple of weeks. But it really is something. I mean, if we look at our lives right now, we a lot of people right now, people are living someone else's dream or building someone else's dream.
That's right.
And then when they say, well, I don't have time to do my own thing, well, if you look back on what you used to do, I hope used to do, and when you used to hang out with these people that you actually started doing that was in that circle like I'm talking about,
right.
All you did was have time. Well, I should say all you did was waste time.
Waste time.
And
if you sit and you reflect, just sit and reflect on your day and how much time you use and how much you waste, you will definitely notice a difference in opportunities that you have that you just need to step out and use.
That's exactly it. And a lot of us right now, we actually are trying to live up to like expectations of possibly what a parent had, a teacher had, grandparents had. I mean, someone that we probably respected or esteemed. But, you know, a lot of people that may have said, hey, I believe that you should do this in life, a lot of us, they may see that on the outside, and they may have done that intentionally of trying to have the best possible outcome for our lives. But guess what? It's not the thing that's driving you, okay? It's not right. It's not that fire, that passion that you have on the inside of you, okay? Now, for a lot of times, it's just been the whole standard approach as far as, like, people, you know, to do something that's going to be high paying, doctor, lawyer, whatever it is, something of that sort, okay, that's going to actually get you to have that career later on in life. But what is it, okay, right now, okay, what is it right now that you may not actually be tapping into that God wants you to tap into because what? You have this fear of actually letting someone down. So, I mean, we definitely even have our spouses when we're married that we're trying to live up to their expectations. But look, you have to live up to that dream, that goal, that desire, what God has in store for you. So look, we're going to go into this first break because we're really going to get into this today because we're really going to set some of you free as God's keeping you in your moment. But we're going to get right back into building someone else's dream. Welcome back to In the Moment with Kortia Kuzan on this Motivational Monday. Definitely, look, we're talking about building someone else's dream. And right before the break, we were talking about, you know, the fear of actually letting, you know, other people down. And it's really, really, you know, to the point of saying that as the first topic point on today, because a lot of us, like I said before, we're making different choices in our lives based upon letting, you know, other individuals down. And I mean, it really goes back to in our childhoods. We can track it back. You can look at your own child if you have children. How many times, like I said, we've made choices and we've done different things just to be pleasing unto others? How many times, if you have children, they try to do different things to be pleasing unto the parents. Well, look, it really boils down to this. Exactly. If you're a parent and you actually have a child, when you were once, a younger child, okay, and think about, like I said, the choices and everything that you made. What was the motivation of why you actually did those things, okay? Why did you make those particular choices? Why did you make those decisions? And like I said, a lot of us, it's because of the fear of actually letting someone down. I mean, we have, as human beings, we really want to be, we don't want to actually be in like strife with anyone, okay? If we don't set out waking up first thing in the morning and say, hey, I'm definitely going to be in strife with this particular person today, and my wife is actually giving me those eyes. Yeah, some people may, okay? Let's just say they may do they may do that. But look, we don't naturally, the most of us don't intentionally get up to having our mindsets that we're going to be in strife with someone. And so that's why, I guess that's where that terminology comes around, where people say, you're a people pleaser, as you want to say, just so that you can like be in good standing with so many different people. But then, another thing that lets you know when you are actually, building someone else's dream. And let me see, has this ever happened with someone or some of you right now that are listening before you're actually going to work, that what? You actually dread going to work in the mornings. Can anybody testify this morning? You actually dread going to work in the mornings. Now, I tell you, it's something that's really funny, and I've shared before. You should not have to wake up in the morning, and just as you see on the sidelines, okay, at a sporting event where the players are like, trying to motivate each other. They're pumping each other up for the big game, for the competition that they're having. When you've got to motivate yourself like that in the mornings before you go to work, I mean, that might be an indication that you're building someone else's dream. I mean, when your time, okay, listen to this. When your time on the job feels like nothing but misery, yeah, I think there's something that's a red flag going up in your spirit. A guy's trying to catch your attention that, hey, you may not be doing exactly what he's called you to do. And I mean, it's a really big indicator. I mean, how many of us right now have actually, as soon as you get to the job, you're thinking about ways to try to get off the job? I mean,
wow.
Well,
that's all I can say.
Am I being truthful?
You're being truthful.
Okay,
yes.
yeah, am I being truthful?
Mm-hmm.
And then just like I said before, living for the weekends, every Sunday night you get filled with dread, that countdown situation that you have. And I mean, it's like right before bed, you feel like you're going into sudden death overtime or something.
Okay, I'm waiting for the positive in all of this.
Look, the positive is coming through, but
no,
the
you're
positive,
describing the water.
She says I'm describing the water. No, but the thing is that it should be an indicator for you to actually start taking, a checklist, assessing your life to actually see what it is that God is actually calling you to do.
Yes.
Now, it wasn't trying to be a negative thing, but look, there's no thing. Look, really, if every single day you're just going through the motions, okay, let's just say it like this. If every single day that you're going through the motions, all right, and for whatever reason you're trying to really just motivate yourself to do something on the job, okay, or motivate yourself to do something in your household, you really ought to think about why it is that you're actually doing that. And the thing is that, like I said, take an assessment of what God is actually calling you to do. And I mean exactly when we actually had coming in on a drive today, listening to the Sin Law Spiritual Hour,
right?
Okay, listening to Pastor Greg when he was on there. And he says, you should never do anything unless you have 100% peace.
That's
okay?
Right.
And it goes right in line with what we're talking about right now. We are making decisions right now in our lives based upon, what we exteriorly see. And what I mean by that is that you're looking at because you can have the better job, what you would call the better relationship, making the connections, doing whatever it is, okay, whatever it is. And you're doing it on an outside, okay, this is what's going to bring me like the immediate satisfaction or the immediate gratification, but you don't have that 100% peace on the inside. And like I've said before, there are so many people, and my wife can definitely testify to this as well. And you might say, well, I don't really see it, but just because of the people that we've come into contact with and in the backgrounds and the professions and the jobs that we work, there are more people that I've seen that have these like high paying, what you call them, high middle class jobs or high end jobs from like high 5-figure salaries, 6-figure salaries, and these people are literally miserable.
There are a lot of them.
I mean, miserable, have no peace, taking things to go to sleep, taking things to help them get up in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean, really have no peace whatsoever. But on the outside looking in, you think they got it all together just because of the business suit, the vehicle that they drive, possibly where they're living. And, it's like complete and utter turmoil in their lives.
Yeah.
And, I've had it said, or someone brought it out to me, that they've seen, or should say, what was the expression, how it came? I would rather be someone that's having to dig a ditch, sweating each and every day with love, joy, and peace, inside of me and in my household, than, going, to a job to where no matter if I'm making this high figure salary, but I don't have peace within and have peace within my own household. I mean, but a lot of people have actually made that choice because, well, people have kind of sold themselves for a dollar bill nowadays, if you can really say that,
It's the truth.
And, it really is. But look, see, when we don't have that internal peace, what ends up happening? And like I said, this is something where God's really just wanting to point out to you right now in your moment, okay? If you're being real with yourself, a lot of the decisions that we've actually made and how we're building up other people's dream, if you don't have that other peace that's on the inside of you, what ends up happening? It starts to affect you spiritually, first and foremost, okay? And then it starts to affect your mental state, all right? You start making decisions to where you have all of the stress and anxiety, where you start having like conditions in your body. I mean, your immune system starts breaking down. It seems like you start getting sick for no reason whatsoever. Right. I mean, a lot of different things. And it's like it's these steps that just keep happening, and these dominoes keep falling in your life, and not dominoes to actually bring you up, but also it seems like to bring you down.
That's right.
But then, of course, how many of us right now, it seems like we're in a place to where we're like changing jobs, it seems like every 2 to 3 years. I mean, there's no definite point as far as like having some type of career in our life. We're just trying to find something that's going to make us happy, okay? We're trying to find that fix, okay, that natural fix.
Okay, a lot of things have changed over the years.
True.
Where like our grandparents and our parents were raised and they stayed in the same career all their life.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, in our generation, in our children's generation, it's not so much about being a career with one place as much as it is a career within in whatever your specialty is.
Right.
So I've noticed over the years that things have changed there. There used to be a time when it wasn't okay. It looked awful on a resume when you had multiple job changes.
Right.
And now people look for that for experience.
And something, just like she said, I'm kind of dumbfounded by that myself.
Right.
But like it's the older mindset of like, if you haven't been on a job for minimum, 5 years, maybe minimum of 5 years, to where if you actually went for a new job or whatever it is that you're doing, to where it looks bad now, but it's almost like the mindset, and I've seen it, as far as like, professional media, social media site like LinkedIn, to where professionals, just like my wife said, they look for different experience and qualifications just because they've actually said that there is no stick-to-itiveness or someone that will stay on the job that long. And it's just like, they try to classify it as millennials or whatever, but it's not just millennials, it's everyone. It's everyone. And, it's just not that, what do we want to say, that loyalty, okay, as it used to be.
There is no loyalty like there used to be.
Exactly.
It's based off of personal feelings now.
Personal feelings, and it's basically how we're going to go ahead and meet you right now. And they're trying to meet people right now in their moment, and God's trying to meet you right now in your moment. So look, we're still talking about building someone else's dream, but we're going to really catapult into how this is going to help you to go into your dream. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to In the Moment with Kortia Kuzan on this Motivational Monday. And hey, we're talking about building someone else's dream. And look, we were definitely talking about a little something in the break and how it just seems like there really is no longevity, it would seem, out there today when it comes to working for different, places of employment, different corporations and everything that are out there. And we were trying to think of some terminology for it as far as like, like in real estate, to where you've got buyers and you've got sellers, or you could say like it's a buyer's market, to where there's so many homes out there that people can pick and choose, and then the rates are low. But then, my wife just said that, basically right now it is an employees market, okay? It's so much so to where, we have like one of our the sponsors and everything On Point Talk, like the Global Trucking Academy. I mean, the truck drivers out there right now, it is like almost near epidemic at how many truck drivers are needed out there for these different companies. And then, of course, in the medical profession, I always hear
that
shortage of nurses.
out.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really, really bad. You literally have outside states recruiting or going to different states to recruit people, and you have nurses that are pretty, I don't know what you call a introductory nursing degree or whatever it is like that, but I know when we stayed in Mississippi at that time, what did they call it, the traveling nurses?
Traveling nurses.
I mean, you had traveling nurses, okay, just getting out of school and agreeing to these contracts to work out of state, and they're making like $200-something, $300-something thousand a year, okay? And that was like traveling nurses. But the thing is that just like you said, it's an employee type market to where the longevity isn't there, because if you're not satisfied at one job, then guess what? Hey, I can
move to the next.
Move to the next, and
I can go right down the street and get the same job, same pay, different problems.
Exactly.
But the grass is always greener on the other side.
And that's the mentality. And a lot of you might be thinking, oh, he's talking about people that are probably in like the food industry, fast food.
Oh,
no, not today. Not today. If you go pretty much anywhere, okay, you will find that same mentality. We've been to different banks and different agencies,
that's
and
right.
we've like, well, what's held the process up today? Oh, we're shorthanded. I mean, when did you or myself or whoever ever thought you go to a bank and they say it was shorthanded? I mean, really, okay? But that's just how it is nowadays. And the thing is that what are we actually doing? It seems like, and I was just sharing with my wife in the break, there are some countries around the world that are actually suffering with this now. And, not going to say the specific country, but there are actually countries right now, because they try to take care of everyone's quote-unquote issue, that they actually have people that are in like 18 years of age to their 20s that are on retirement. How could you have worked at 18 or 20 and you're on retirement, okay? And then now these countries are actually suffering. And too many times people right now, all right, instead of actually getting out there and building their own dream and doing something, they just want someone to actually take care of them, okay? If we're just being real with it.
I want somebody to take care of me.
I got you, baby. I got you, baby. But look, the thing is that why is it that it seems like so many people want someone else to just foot the bill or do something for them, okay? And maybe it's like I said, it goes back to maybe how I was raised. I mean, I know how my wife was raised up in there. If nothing else that we have common with this, we were taught you got to get it, okay? You have got to get it. I mean, we raise our kids that way, that it's not just going to be handed out to you and just say, here, just take this, nothing's ever going to come to you. So, just take that. And my old, nothing's ever going to come to you in that way. But the thing is that we need to actually decide, are we going to continue to build someone else's dream, or are we going to build our own dream? And a lot of us right now, you may be in the point of you may be working in like a family business. And I'm not putting family businesses down, okay? I'm really not. But I know myself personally, I've spoken to a lot of people that have been in family businesses, and it can be a successful business. And when you talk about them, you say, wow, it's great. You're in the family business and everything's going on. And they're like, yeah, it is. But, this is this is not my first choice. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? A lot of people that are in family businesses, they actually make that choice out of obligation.
Yeah.
Feeling the generational pressure, if
That's
you want
right.
to put it that way. Let's just keep it all in the business. And, they haven't actually, how can I put it? In a family business, they pretty much didn't look at what their heart's desire is or what their dream is, and possibly see if it's possible to like incorporate it, to put it together with that. And I know some people's dreams are totally, in one direction as opposed to, anything that's dealing with family. But I mean, that would definitely be a tidbit or a piece of advice, for some individuals that are actually looking for that. I mean, because we got people that are in family businesses, and it sounds probably funny when I say this, but it could be generationally, as far as like being a pastor, a doctor, a lawyer, or a contractor, whatever it may be. You could be working at a convenience store, okay, and it's a family business, but it may not be the thing that you actually want to do. I mean, and I'm not telling anybody to just all of a sudden go up to the head of the family, hey, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore, okay? You've got to use, God-given wisdom as far as like in this particular area.
Yes.
I mean, you cannot be like, okay, say your parents have retired and you've become like the head of the company per se right now, and then all of a sudden, I don't want to do this anymore. This was never in my heart to do. Well, you're not just looking at yourself, then you're looking at the people that are working under you, everyone else that's connected. So, you really have to be smart as far as like what it is that God's actually calling you to do in that particular area.
You have to have wisdom.
Wisdom. I mean, it really is. And I mean, and we like to say, and here it goes, that common sense thing. And right now, it seems like every time you say common sense,
it's not so common.
There you go. She got it before it could come out of my mouth. Common sense is not so common anymore. And the thing I realize is that we look at some individuals, and I think my wife and I now, instead of saying something, we just kind of look at each other with these like little expressions on our face, like, really? Did they really just make that choice? Or they really just did what they just did? I mean,
after 25 years, we can read each other's expressions.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, yeah, that, like you said, it's just knowing each other's expressions and looking, and you just look at that, shake the head, and do these different things. But a lot of us right now, you don't. Okay, I'm not going to say you feel stuck in building someone else's dream, but you might feel like stuck in the way of, because you've made the choice based upon what? Because of the money. Mm-hmm. And we touched on that, and wow, just how you said the employees market when it comes to like jobs or whatever it is that maybe.
Just like you said, a lot of people have sold out for a dollar bill.
Yeah,
they sold themselves for a dollar bill.
I mean, and a lot of people have actually sold their families out for a dollar bill.
They have.
And you might say, well, what do you mean? So I'm taking this job, I'm doing this right now for my family. Well, let me ask you this. Look at what you're doing on a daily basis, okay? Look at what you're doing. Look at the time you're spending on a daily basis. Are you happy right there? And I can guarantee you that misery that you have at where you are right now, like I'm saying, I'm not telling you to go into your job and quit your job, but I guarantee you that the pressures that you have on that job, you're bringing it home with you. Many people bring it home, and it affects their families, and it causes that amount of tension. And you might find yourself just snapping out at someone, you don't even realize that you're actually doing it. Hey, been there, done that. Many of us have been there and done that. My wife's raising her hand, been there and done that. But see, the thing is, are you going to allow that dollar per se to change your mood? And look, like I've done the choices and went after jobs just because of what? The amount that's coming in there. Knew before I even took the job. I didn't have a peace about it. Knew that it probably wasn't there, but just because I knew that the income coming in was going to meet the needs then and down the road.
That's right.
That's exactly the choice that I made. No peace whatsoever, okay?
That's right.
But the thing is that make whatever you're doing, whatever choice, whether it's personal or professional, let it be something that let's just say that you really enjoy. I want to really say love, okay? But, I really want to just start saying enjoy on a lot of different things now because, when we really start speaking of love, it really has to be under the dynamic or the measurement of loving an individual and loving God. Okay, let's just say something that you really, really enjoy. All right, and what is it that actually
sounds like something you heard on the Sin Law Spiritual Hour?
Well, I did hear it on the Sin Law Spiritual Hour, but something that's something that God actually quickened like a couple years ago as well. We really, really need to start defining what it is as far as like what we enjoy in life and what it is that we really, really love.
Right.
And I really think myself personally, my opinion, that'll actually show you exactly how to stop you from continually building someone else's dream, but start working on your own dream. Okay? So look, God is touching you right now in your moment, and he's letting you know exactly what that dream is still on the inside of you. But look, hold on to that, and we're going to be right back into this right after the break. Welcome back to In the Moment with Kortia Kuzan on this Motivational Monday. And look, as we round up and come almost to the very, very end of the program on today when we've been talking about building someone else's dream. Look, we're talking about how people chase after that dollar bill when it comes to making life decisions. But How many of us right now in our personal lives, like we talked about, going into different professions that people suggested? Now, I'm not trying to actually say that you should have some type of a separation or anything like that. By no stretch of the imagination am I saying that. But I know a lot of us right now, we've probably made things, or should I say choices, as far as like in our personal life when it came to, the different people that we actually decided to connect with, okay? And, I've always wondered within myself, there are people out there that, man, they've changed like relationships as many times as someone's changed socks, okay? And you might say, well, they're out there trying to find that perfect match. Well, look, God's going to bring that perfect match to you when you're ready. Scripture even lets us know, okay, that, when a man finds a wife, okay, he finds a good thing, okay? Well, and that's because why? Because he said finds a wife. He didn't say find a woman, because when a man actually finds his wife, she's going to be always in that preparation, and God's going to have her ready, as far as like marriage. And it goes the same way from a woman to, a man. But where am I going with this? It's just this. It's that a lot of us right now, we've possibly made choices as far as like who we may have married, who we may have dated or something in that realm, just because someone said, oh, y'all look cute together in that capacity. But how many of us right now, instead of, following the leading of God, following the leading of the Holy Spirit, okay, seeking God and what we should do, so we've even made choices that have caused us so much, hurt, pain, turmoil as far as like in our life, and it could have been averted, okay? God's trying to just tell us each and every time. It's kind of like, when possibly, like I said, with a child. Think about yourself. How many times possibly when you were growing up, or maybe with your own child, when you tried to get the parents' attention and you're like, oh, I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something. I want to tell you something. And then all of a sudden you're like, look, move. Okay, I don't have time right now. I don't have time right now. But then it's just like with God. God tries to tell us each and every day, not sometimes. I'm going to say all the time. Each and every day, God tries to tell us something to help us to get and build the dream that he has in store for us. But it's like we're treating God like this little kid on the side of us, or even maybe like an annoying mosquito. I don't have time right now. We're swatting and trying to move God away just because why? We have our own direction. We have our own thing that we want to do. And then, oh my Lord, then that whole, that dynamic lesson my wife and I, how we were taught early on in this walk. We're talking about that process, that big process.
That capital P?
Oh, that big capital P, capital P, capital R. I mean, the whole word was capitalized, okay? And then we went to that whole dynamic of, Lord, show us patience. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Lord, show us patience. Didn't say, Lord, grace us through patience. Lord, show us patience.
Yeah.
And believe me, God did more than enough to show us patience. If no one else realized what it was for the children of Israel to go around that mountain, oh my Lord, we realized what it was to go around that mountain, because he was like, okay, I'm going to take you and show you patience my way so that we can get Egypt all out of you. But look, in doing that, God allowed us to see that, hey, it's kind of funny now when you think about it. When a lot of those things fell away, that's when we actually started dreaming, started realizing that, we could actually do more. Because when we talk about building someone else's dream, if we think about it, how we had that keeping up with the Joneses mentality way back when, we were literally building the dream of both of our families. Because how was that? Always saying we wanted to be that one to be better than everyone else around us, as far as like in our family. And it really is. A lot of us right now are making choices, even though we have that. Some of you, we thank God for, I'm going to just say, breaking us of that, okay? And now some of you might be making decisions right now and being in that quote-unquote keeping up with the Joneses mentality just because you want to have the outward image of that you are better than, family members or people that have gone before you. But in the process, you may be just miserable inside because you're trying to maintain this lifestyle, okay, that's just so superficial. It's not really built on anything, okay? But definitely it's building like a really false dream, or what's that other thing they call it, like a mirage, something that's not really real right there, okay? And then how we said before, changing of jobs, multiply changing jobs, trying to find out where you fit in as far as like in life, going to and fro, bounce back from like a tennis ball. But what is it right now and how God's identified all of these things as far as like right now where you are in your moment, okay? If you've actually used these things like a chisel, okay? Say like if you've had a stony heart to all of these things. Think of the things that we've been saying today. It's like a chisel. And each time you've heard it, it's been like a chipping of that chisel to hit that hard, stony heart that you may have as far as like being adamant about going forth for someone else's dream. And God's just chipping away. He's just chipping away at your heart, okay? And all of a sudden, this like beam of light just shines out from that rock, which is around your heart. And then you're starting to see your true purpose of what God's called you to actually accomplish upon the face of this earth. I mean, look, we shouldn't just get up and, like I said, as far as like each and every day and think this is the best it's ever going to be, okay? That's not so, all right? We need to have a hope, you know, a dream that's on the inside of us is greater than what we see right before us.
Right.
I mean, and I really love this as far as like with my wife and myself. And like I said, not putting anyone down, but we're really adamant about, you know, letting our kids know they can do more than what even we can do. Okay. So that's why we're like so open with our kids and actually share things with our kids and allow our kids to have examples. And you know, sometimes, you know, they've had some pretty interesting ideas that I was just like, wow, in my natural self, didn't see how it was going to happen. But, you know, my response to that would be, okay, ask God exactly how to revelate to you to bring all of this to pass. Because even though something may not make sense to you or what you tell someone, it may not make sense to them. As long as God is in the midst of it, he's going to give you the step-by-steps to actually bring, you know, whatever it is to pass or whatever in your life. And, you know, I really pray that, you know, each and every one of you let loose, okay? Let this empty feeling go, okay? Let this empty feeling go and let God fill you up with passion, okay? That drive, that desire to do exactly what he's calling you to do. And, I mean, it's going to give you this sense of like, okay, I've got a guarantee stamped on the inside of me. What you do, okay, connected to the blessing, because if you are his child, that you're going to be more than what you are. You're going to be that positive agent of change. You're going to affect your community, your family, and the people that are around you, okay? But you've got to realize it yourself. I mean, would you agree? I mean, God just can't keep saying you have this inside of you, you have that inside of you, you can do this and do that, and then we end up being just like Gideon and how we're sitting by the press, you know, trying to thresh the wheat. And when the angel of the Lord comes to say, you mighty man of valor, and then Gideon just goes, who, me?
Who, me?
Look, we have got to break that emptiness. We've got to break that empty state on the inside of us. We need to realize that, you know something, if God is tapping you on your shoulder right now, okay, as we close out, if God is tapping you on your shoulder right now, he's not just tapping you on your shoulder just to get your attention. He's tapping you on your shoulder, letting you know, hey, guess what? It's game time. It's time for you to get in the game. It's time for you to do your part. It's time for you to actually bring forth that specialty that he's placed on the inside of you. It's time for you to actually get in the game to make that one move that's going to change everything around. God is just saying you're not a bystander. You're not a bench warmer, okay? He's letting you know that you're very intricate. You are a valued member of his team, not just the team, but his team, okay? You really need to get in there and act the special gifts that he has on the inside of you. Why? Because what you do is going to just make that change happen inside of another, and what it's going to enhance what the entire team is doing, which is what? The body. And like I said, when you are his child, we're all connected, okay? We're all connected to go ahead and do for him. So the question is, are you actually living your dream, or are you living someone else's dream, okay? And I can definitely say right now, if no other time in my life, I can definitely say we are living our dream. We're living the dream that God has actually given us. And I mean, finally. I mean, and that's something to say, finally. Have we arrived? No, we pretty much just getting started, okay? Just getting started. But what? God is calling you to live your dream, to stop living in someone else's dream, but seek him. Seek wisdom, seek guidance before you take that next step. And when we come back tomorrow on Terrific Tuesday, I pray that God has steadily kept you in your moment. So family, take care, God bless, and we love you.